In this video, I'm going to delve into projects. And at this point, you've probably entered in like a lot. You should have gone through the pillars and the dreams and the goals and milestones video before jumping into this section, though you can start with, hey, these are projects I know I got to manage right now and get them in the system. Totally fine. I have a maintenance area that takes care of anything that's not linked properly, and we'll go through, and that's also covered in a separate video. So at this point, you've identified what your focus pillars are, your focus dreams and themes, and your focus goals and milestones. That's everything you've done here. Now that you've kind of set those things, you've set your strategic plan. That's actually what these three things become, is it's your strategic plan. Now we're moving to the execution phase of things where you're working that plan. So one thing you'll notice, if I scooch this over here, is, and I'll actually wrap this so you can see that there's multiple things here. So you can see that I have multiple items that are here, but if I go here, they're missing. This is because this is just projects. Those were all habits, and they show up here. Now, if you think that you've got some that are missing, like I know a lot of these ones related to, building a kitchen garden is definitely missing. You can always go to the core database. And again, you might only have to do this during setup. Once it's in. Or you can actually go into the item and update it. So for right now, with projects, so you'll see that there is a type here. And so this is essentially missing what its type is. If it's something that, if you ever create something from a projects tab, it should automatically create it using the project template. If you ever create anything under habits, it will automatically apply. It should automatically apply the habit tab. Now, sometimes Notion's funny, it doesn't always do that. So here I know that it's a habit because I set those. And so it at least set that part, but it didn't apply the template, which is what these little visual indicators are. So let's focus on projects. I'm going to fix the projects and we'll fix the habits with the habits. So planting a kitchen is a project. So I'm just going to go ahead and open this up. And I can assign it priority. Right now we're not working about that. It goes to this, and you can see like which box to check because it's going to pull in the ties to, and it's going to go with whatever level is there. And so I'm just going to check this because it is a project. And then I'm going to go to the next one, and I'm using these arrows to move through. And you can see it's filling this out. And that is project. Go. This is actually a habit, so I'll go ahead and just move that so that way it goes down. And same there. Because depending on where you create these, it may not apply the template automatically, but you can, whenever you go into it, it'll give you the options. And so this is where, if you wanted to create multiple templates for certain days of the week or tests, you're going to see this in future modules that come with the system, is where you can say, okay, this coaching call, boom, and it applies your coaching call template. This was a sales call, boom, it applies your sales call template, and you just fill out the spots. Makes it super easy, and you can have multiple things there. It just depends on how you want to have it organized. But for right now, we've got that. So everything, yeah, I will fix those when we talk about habits. So right now we are on projects. So now that we've got this fixed, we're going to go back to our alignment. And so projects are the things that support a goal. They're usually multiple action steps. You can even have I don't tend to do this because if you got multiple projects nested within another, you can do that similar to how we did on goals. You just click down to do that to where, I could do plant, crops, and then, add new one, plant summer crops, and then plant fall crops. And so then, that would make sense. So you can have you can have sub goals, or in which case I refer those as actual milestones. You can do that. And you can do the same thing with projects, and absolutely you'll be able to do the same thing with actions, because sometimes it's okay, I've got a project to, build my website. And so that is something that can be broken down to, like, each page could be, build homepage. Well, then you've got subtasks for that. So you can organize that however you want. For right now, I'm actually going to delete that. So if you ever add one, you're like, you can leave it or delete it. And of course, checking these boxes keeps things on the rails. And so you can see right here, though, with the projects, to kind of help, that would, well, actually, I'm going to go mark some more of these, because the more of these you have, the more it will kind of show up. So I'm just going to randomly check a few there, so you can kind of see how okay, I must not have checked the right ones, but ultimately what you're going to wind up with is, oh, it's probably because these don't have one linked. So let's actually link that. So in a project, we will mark that. And so right now it's saying, hey, there's no link currently. So I actually have a field I'm going to make visible again. We'll go back into that. Boom. So anytime you want to see what properties are available, these are just basically, hey, data that's available in the template. You add it, and I'm going to go move it up to the top. I'm going to put it right by here. So I can see of, hey, this tells me that I have data missing. So if there's no link, it means that somewhere along the line, I'm missing something. So let's find out what happens if I just give it a goal. Okay, that's there. So it ties it all the way back up to mindset. And I didn't need something like, okay, I can do that. And then do that. And then once you fill out there. So while we're here, you'll notice some very similar. So the time frame for these is, this is a project I want to tackle, or I want to tackle, or needs to be tackled right now, and now being within the next 90 days. Short is, 3 months to 6 months out. Mid is 6 to 12 months out. Long is, okay, probably next year, is how I look at that, because you can move these through as, time advances and things like that. So, I want to start this. You can even do like, okay, I want, my target month is actually, I'll reread it this month. And then you can have, your start date, and there's supposed to be a deadline. So you notice I open this and it opens up a bunch of other stuff. Here we go. So I'm going to right click, and I want it to, okay, it's being hidden because it doesn't have anything in it. I actually want that to always show. And now if I hide everything else, it will, there we go. It will do that. So there's always more properties that you can see everything, but the idea behind this particular view is when you're in the project, you don't necessarily need to see all that additional data. And then this one is actionable, where it'll determine. So sometimes with projects, you have to finish one before you can do the other. So let's actually set that up. I'm going to go to, actually, it'll be the next one down, I believe. Nope. So plant, kitchen, garden. Well, I can do that. But I can't do it until, so let's actually, this is going to be easier to show you here. When you're doing this, and do I have, yeah. All right, so this actionable section, let's actually do this. I'm going to freeze up to this column, and I'm going to show you why, because then it makes it a lot easier to scroll over and see. Okay, so I know I can't, so reading this book is blocking my ability to plan, create kitchen garden plan. So I can't do that. I can't plant my kitchen garden without a plan. And I absolutely can't do any of that until I finish reading that book. So I know I have to do all of those. Now, kitchen garden plan, that's of course going to block me from planting the garden, building the garden, and all of this. You don't have to link all of them, but the idea is just to get enough towards like, hey, I know what's actionable, what's not. You can do this with tasks as well. And then we'll just create a kitchen garden plan, and then build. There we go. So we've got essentially a list of all of these different dependencies that, like, here's the order the dominoes need to fall in. Because sometimes we think of projects and things as like, oh, cool, yeah, I need to go build a website, but really I don't have a lead magnet, so I need to actually do that first, but then I need to do this and that. And so it lets you still get everything out and then determine, okay, I have to have this piece before I can do this piece, and builds it in that way. So now that we've got this, you can see the next layer of planning of like, okay, what is actually actionable that I can do? So I want to focus on finishing that book. And I'll make that third. And then you can see this. And so we'll do March. And you can do starts, deadlines. You can still see that this one has no link. So we'll fix that. Because you will want to at least make sure that it is tied in to different things. So it'll pull in that. I'm not sure. And so you can see that it is pulling in based on what is here. So if I do that, and then it's looking specifically at this goal level. So you don't necessarily have to have the dreams, but it will default to the dreams if you don't have a goal level set. And then on up from there. Okay, so that is project. So now let's actually take a look at the project. So the idea here is like, hey, why am I doing this project? What's the goal of it? Why does it matter? And then the idea is you can kind of brainstorm a list of different tasks and things. And in other areas, we'll see this little brainstorming notes toggle. So you can kind of use it as scratch paper to dump out your ideas. And then the ones that you want to move forward with are the ones that you'll put into your system. But then you can always close that and save it for later. And then here you can add actions from here. This is it's probably not the best example because this is a read a book one. Read the first section of the book. So you can do that. Probably not. Yeah. For books, you can either that you could probably do more for rather than actions like I've read chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. That could be something that when you're setting up the goal or the project, that would probably be a goal. You can think through that, and like again, the system is meant to be flexible, so you can set it up however you want. And I'm just hiding the database title so you can do that. If you're ever curious, like, okay, what database is this? Show database, and then you can click this and it will take you directly into the database that it's tied to. So if you ever get lost there, but the idea is you should be working mostly out of these. And then once you determine which projects you are wanting to focus on, which I'm missing it. So I'm going to add advanced filter, and we are going to do and focus is checked. And this is how you can see how this is bringing about the different views to get you focused and what's there. So through this, you're going to be able to see of, okay, this is a focus, this is a focus, this isn't right now, and then be able to bring that because as you have more of these, you'll see combinations where it's like focus, focus, or all three, or just these two, and you can kind of build it out that way. And then, so this gives you down to your focus project. So this is what you really want to make sure that when you're doing your monthly planning and quarterly planning things, that, okay, these are what I've determined to be my focus. Okay, do they have actions associated with them? If they don't, then and they're actionable, I need to make sure I put in some actions. Otherwise, should I really be focusing on this goal right now? So that's one way you can do that. And that covers the projects. Again, you also have these personal views where you can see everything that's personal, everything that is home, everything that's business, everything that's work, and it will get through that. All right, the next video, we will be talking about habits. So that way you will be able to, and we're going to actually start talking about automation in that one. So that way you have a task that automatically shows up to remind you to complete that habit. I'll see you in the next video.